pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Brewer. Here. Trustee Carter.
Here.
Trustee Grant.
Here.
Trustee Tate.
Here.
Trustee Todd. Here. Trustee Here.
I'll accept the motion for the board to go into executive session for pending matters, litigation, update.
So, second.
Moved by trustee Todd, second by trustee Brewer. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Brewer.
Yes.
Trustee Carter.
Yes.
Trustee Grant.
Yes.
Trustee Tate.
Here.
Yes. Trustee Todd. Yes. Trustee Zupan. Yes.
Motion is carried. We'll be right back.
No.
Okay, I'll accept the motion to reconvene to the regular board meeting.
Second.
It was moved by trustee Brewer, second by trustee Todd. Madam Clerk, please.
Trustee Brewer. Here. Trustee Carter.
Here.
Trustee Grant.
Here.
Trustee Tate. Trustee Todd. Here. Trustee Zupan. Yes.
Motion is carried. Public comment, all questions and comments must be directed to the mayor. Each speaker may comment on any matter pertaining to the bill. Oh, okay, I'm moving forward. Item number 4. I'll entertain a motion.
I thought you were gonna put the microphone, nothing to talk on.
Okay, I misspoke, and there's one other item before that. I'll accept the motion to approve the minutes for the committee of the whole for June 5th, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by trustee Brewer, second by trustee Todd. Any questions?
Hi. Mr. Mayor, I talked to the village clerk about some changes that need to be done in the minutes, and she agreed to it. I'm sorry. I talked to the village clerk about some changes that had to be done to the minutes, and she agreed to it. I forgot to tell you that, to ask you that whenever the residents come up and ask a question, there's still no comment from the mayor or how he addressed the different residents. So is that going to be included in the minutes, or how are we going to do that?
I don't write the minutes, but it's up to the clerk to, how she sees fit to, and if you have a problem with it, I'm sure you would ask her, but, I cannot make anyone put something into the minutes. That's a journal, a outline of what happened at that particular meeting. So, what I can't do is, if you said you had some, corrections to me.
Well, we already talked about that, and she's going to make the corrections, but the additional comment I want to make is that no response is given, noted from the mayor when the residents come up and make their comments.
Okay, well, then, I mean, do you want to have your motion to say that you approve the minutes with the necessary corrections?
Yes.
Okay. Trustee Todd, did you guys want to rescind and then make a motion? Okay, yes, you do. So you want to make a motion that the minutes be approved with the necessary corrections?
Yes, and also I want to respond to, are you going to Is the village clerk going to include any of your comments when residents come up and ask a question or say a comment?
That's something different.
Is that two different motions?
Well, it's
Okay.
something different. The motion is that you would approve the minutes with the necessary correction.
Yes, I will.
Trustee Todd, you would second that? Okay. The motion was that the minutes be approved with the necessary corrections. Are there any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
The clerk was about to make a comment. I was curious to hear what her comment was, if I may.
Does that have something to do with the motion?
Yes, I believe it did.
Yes.
Thank you, Trustee Zupan. You just asked the mayor for a point of information. And that point of information really does not necessarily apply in this case because these are minutes from June 5th. At the last meeting, we discussed comments and whether or not responses to public comments would be made. That was at the last meeting. June 5th was prior to that, so it's not applicable to this set of minutes. However, also at that particular time, I stated that I would be in agreement with adding responses to comments if all of the trustees were in agreement. At that point in time, only two of you stated that you were in need or thought that we needed to do that. So no, the responses will not be included unless someone else, some of the other trustees come before me and state that they desire it as well.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Brewer,
Yes.
trustee Carter,
No, that's on the comment.
June 5th, no, June 5th. We're voting on
The minutes.
June 5th minutes.
Yes.
Okay, yes, please do. Okay.
Trustee Grant,
Yes.
trustee Tate, trustee Todd. Yes. Trustee Zupan.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Now we go to public comments. All questions and comments must be directed to the mayor. Each speaker may comment on any matter pertaining to the business of Sauk Village. Each speaker is allowed one opportunity to speak for up to 3 minutes. It may not engage in debate or counter replies or rebuttals. Please state your name.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, she has a question.
We have another set of minutes to be approved.
She didn't want, I'm sorry. The clerk wasn't ready for those yet. So she asked me to leave.
Judy Cassier. On the accounts payable for tonight, the HR lady is listed. And you, in a way back meeting, indicated that she would be hired for no more than 17 hours. This doesn't indicate how many hours she's put in or how much time she has left. And I can't seem to get answers to my FOIAs when I ask about her pay. So I would like to know on her hourly exactly how many hours she's putting in. You guaranteed us she would not go over 17 hours. Secondly, I wanted to mention the treasurer and the exorbitant amount of money that she was given, a raise of more than double her salary before she even had a chance to show anybody that she could provide the services for that nice treat she got. And with the expenditures that have been going out, I feel like you've left the people of Sauk Village, not only the residents, but our police department in jeopardy. We have a major crime rate in Sauk Village with shootings, etc. And I want to know why any money wasn't spent for dash cams or body cams. And it would absolutely help our police officers as far as lawsuits, etc. go. And I'm also checking on the vests and the tires and all the rest of the stuff again, and I will be having a running thing on the police department because that's my subject. Thank you.
I will answer the major crime rate. Celeste, something just happened today. I've not heard anything from the police department other than normal day-to-day operations that they, I never hear of a major crime wave or raid anything in the village. And believe me, I'm out there every day, so I've heard of other things, but those are normal things that we do business. And so if that's something new, I'm sure the chief is here. He has an report, but he has not informed me of a major crime rate spree in the village. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Linda Washington. Picking back off of what Ms. Cass just said, we definitely do not feel safe in Sauk Village. There are shootings going on out here all the time. People are getting jumped on. People are getting invaded in their homes. They're getting robbed. All kinds of things are happening. In lieu of that, I want to say that the residents have been contacting me in regard to the neighborhood watch and getting the neighborhood watch back together, which simply means that residents on their block will watch out for their neighbors on their blocks. If they see anything suspicious going on their blocks, that they will call the police. Anyone knows that someone that's on a neighborhood watch program does not mean that you want to be the police. If you want to be a policeman, you need to go to the academy and go through everything that it takes to become a policeman or a policewoman. So if you want to look out of your window, your front and back doors, tell your neighbors to turn their lights on, see if somebody is on your block that don't live in your block, that's in a vacant or an abandoned home, and alert the police about that. That's what Neighborhood Watch is about. I received a phone call that it was some indiscretions about the Neighborhood Watch formulating among residents. Residents can talk and say anything that they want to say. Nobody can tell residents what to talk and say. We're all grown. Nobody can tell us who to talk to and what to talk about. We're not children. We pay taxes. We live out here, whether we're renters or whether we're homeowners. You cannot tell us how to conduct ourselves in talking with our neighbors about feeling safe. This building has been used for the last 12 years for Deer Creek to come in here and have their meetings, and they can talk about anything that they want to talk about, and nobody's here giving an accountability of what they're talking about. From Deer Creek being safe or to whatever is going on over there in their subdivision. Now Lincoln Meadows meet here. They have their meetings in here. They talk about whatever they want to talk about, whether they're talking about Lincoln Meadows or about it being safe or watch out for this or whatever's going on in the village. They get updates. I know we're the other village on the other side of 394. We just in the village somewhere, but we do care about our blocks. We care about the blocks that we live on. We want to talk about that. We went to the senior building to use it as the Sauk Village community for informative dialogue. And when residents come together, they can talk about anything that they want to discuss. They can talk about anything that they want to talk about. At the last meeting, they wanted to talk about their blocks and about the neighborhood watch. The only way that you can intelligently get in contact with people is to get their phone numbers. So we passed out a form to give people phone numbers that wanted to be a block club captain, and it turned into we was being political. And I am very upset that somebody think that we need to use the senior center to get votes for a campaign or for any other political reason. We are letting residents talk about what they feel about in their communities. We talked about some development that's supposed to be coming to Sauk Village as well. I talked to the police chief. He told me he does not support the neighborhood watch. It's not sanctioned by the village. We don't have to be sanctioned to talk to each other. I want you to know that we are reforming and that we care about the whole village, not just certain parts of it. And we wish that the police department would work with all of us, whether we call ourselves neighborhood watch or we're just regular residents.
I want to dispel something very clear right now before we get to the end. This is something that's very serious. For people to stand up and say that this village is under siege, that there's crime going on sporadic all the time here, if there's shootings happening every day, that we have so much crime out here that you need, if a person sees anything, be it a resident, be it a home, be it anyone, I would hope that they wouldn't have to wait for another person to tell them to call the police. I'm hoping that they will call the police themselves and report a crime, a gathering, or anything that they see is suspicious. not to let a group call a group and have a group call. But to say this, and you said this many times, that there's so much crime out here that you're so scared to live here. I don't understand that, and that's a shame that you have to put that out there for whatever reason it may be. But I drive around all the time. Yes, I see gatherings. Yes, there is crime. But to make it seem as if you have to bring an organization, or you need to start an organization, and that organization itself is going to stop crime. That's not true. And this is just my comment to yours.
It's the first step.
I'm sorry, sir. I was just making a comment. I'm not going back and forth. And I'm hoping that it doesn't happen that way, that we don't have to do this dialogue back and forth. This is a comment that the second person got up and said there's so much crime out here that we need X, Y, and Z. I don't see that. I don't know, I wish if that was the case, please, excuse me, sir, I'll ask one more time. I'll ask one more time, sir. I'll ask one more time. So if that was the case, then, you know, the police chief would have told me this a long time ago. I would have heard it from more than from just residents stating that. But to get up and say that the crime is astronomical out here, I haven't heard that. I have not seen that. And I wish you stop saying something that's not a fact. Yes, ma'am.
I have a handout, Madam Clerk. Should I publish it?
A handout? What kind of handout is this?
A handout that I need to be altering.
I was asking what is the concept, the context.
I have no problem. Yeah. I could pass it out myself. I thought,
That was professional.
yeah. I mean, really. My name is Mary Escobedo, and I would like to address the handout that you have. Okay. Sure. My name is Mary Escobedo, and I would like to address the handout that you have. Your employee who attacked me on Facebook is the same person who always told me how great and exceptionally beautiful I looked while I supported you. Since I no longer support you or what you are doing, he is now attacking me. The day I resigned was the day all the negativity and attacks toward me started, and they have not stopped. Is this how you run the village, letting your employees attack the residents because they don't agree with or support you? And as far as his real friend that he speaks of, the nasty stuff he wrote about me, he used to say about her. That's a real friend. What makes him think he knows if I have a man in my life or not? My men in my personal life are none of his or Sauk Village's business. I could stand here and really bash Joe Wizawai for the kind of person he is, but I won't. What I do want to say is that if I remember correctly, Derek, it was said that the reason you lost the last election when you ran for mayor was due to all the negativity that he put out. I was your main supporter, and my ex-husband, who by the way is here to support me, came out after we were divorced to help you with your campaign. So why is your employee attacking me and putting our personal business on social media? You and your wife were the only ones that knew this. My ex read Joe's little tantrum note and said that is really nasty and has no business in Derek's administration, nor does it have anything to do with village business. This is not the first time I have been attacked on Facebook by your people. They have put the company I work for and my salary.
1 minute.
And again, you and your wife and Tate were the only ones in the room when that information was disclosed. I don't go on social media and divulge all the information that you all have shared with me. Joe should be doing what his mayor job is instead of worrying about my men and my personal life. This time he went too far. I intend to seek legal counsel. I will be sharing this with my pastor so that she is aware that I have worn out my welcome at her church so she can see who's running the village. I am sending a copy to St. James and to Joe's church so that they know what kind of person they have in their parish. Your employees are a representation of you. I will be sharing with Deer Creek and Sauk Village residents how you hire your friends and you let them attack the residents instead of doing the job you made up for them. When Joe is calling me old, he needs to check his style of writing because he sounds like a bitter, insecure, evil, unhappy, jealous old woman. During your last campaign, I heard you say many times, if Joe doesn't stop posting negativity on Facebook, he's got to go. I see he's still here. Will you be removing him? As a leader of this village, what do you intend to do about your employee is doing on Facebook and all the negativity he is speaking?
Good for you.
My name is Janona Ayers, and I am here to address and inform everyone here there exists an ordinance number 14-006, which was adopted on February 25th, 2013, and approved on February 25th, 2014, by David Hanks, the mayor at that time. Derek Burgess was also the trustee at that time and should be well aware of this ordinance and its policy regarding the use of social media. This ordinance and policy states in detail what you can and cannot do, what you can and cannot post on social media as a Sauk Village employee. Joe Wizawati, an employee, went on a personal vendetta on social media slandering Mary Escobedo's appearance, her personal life, continued foul name calling, and even compared her red hair to Woody Woodpecker. Per your own ordinance and policy, an employee can be subjected to disciplinary action up to and including termination. Sherry Zuzinski was given a 2-week suspension for aiding a trustee on the use of a stamp machine and then let go by eliminating her position. What your employee Joseph Wizawati did on social media was far worse according to your own ordinance and policy. Joseph Wizawati needs to be written up and terminated. At this time, I would like to present this administration to review copies of your own ordinance and its policies regarding the use of social media and act accordingly.
How many lines do it take?
I'd like to pass out the ordinance, please.
1 minute.
Joseph Holcomb.
Hold on just a second, sir. Hold on just a second, sir.
Hold on, wait till they call you.
Okay, sir.
I'm asking,
Your name is?
Joseph Holcomb. The Wizawati thing, I'm actually dumbfounded because I didn't even know this was going on. Holcomb.
Oh, Hope.
I didn't even know this was going on, and I experienced it with my dad.
Excuse me, can you pick the mic up and so we can speak, because I can't hear you. There you go, because I really.
I experienced it with Joseph Wizawati 3 years ago with my dad, where he said stuff on the internet. I had in the same room. We finished it, it was done. I apologize what he does, because that's what he does.
I know.
But, and then
No,
you,
that's
so,
here.
so.
Excuse me,
what I-
we're not gonna go back and forth,
We're
please.
not going back and forth.
You are going back and
Now,
No, I apologize to her for what he did, and she just said, okay. So, but what I want to say for you as a man, so now you know what the village is. The village is struggle. The village is, obviously, there's crime in the village. Give me a reason that you gave yourself a car, that you assigned a municipal plate to. So give me a reason that you justify. So how many hours a week do you work for a mayor in this town? Because I want to justify a $30,000 car payment. So let's bring it all up. So tell me. Quid pro quo. Trust me, I work for the state. So tell me. So how do you justify you having a brand new car when I see the police chief right here could probably better utilize that car for the service of the village? You live in Dare Creek. Everybody in this village, probably in this room and everybody here, that car would be better utilized as a police car.
1 minute, sir.
I'm just asking, so tell me why you think a municipal plate is justified for a brand new car. There's plenty old police cars that you could drive home and go to the store and do whatever you want. Why have a brand new $30,000 car?
how much?
You tell me, you approved it. I mean, you want me to like do your budget for you?
yes,
I'm like, I'll take $100,000 and talk shit to people on Facebook. I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you. And for your answer, how many hours do I put in the village? Roughly 60 a week. And the job is part-time.
Yeah, I know.
That's why I didn't want to answer. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Renee Richardson. Mayor, I want to say this to you so you can please understand, so you can understand my feelings in regards. You can't hear me, Bernie?
I hear you. That was somebody up
Oh,
there.
okay. Okay. What I want to say to you, Mayor, there's a lot of things that you could have done differently when you came in because you were not totally ready to sit down in that seat and take over every entity of this city when you did. But I was willing to give you the bare minimum and the bare facts of what you were trying to do and say, okay, maybe he can do this. I respect you as a man, but I don't respect you as the mayor of the city. That I don't. I was willing to give you a chance to see some of the things that you had put in here, but when you hired him, Mr. Wizawazi, I understand he's your friend. There's nothing wrong with that. You have the right to do that too. But then you went on to keep hiring, knowing that we did not have to pay for that. You could have hired Joe. The same job you got, you only make so many hours in a week. You could have given him the same one instead of giving him full-time pay. You could have let him prove himself. If his work was what Sauk Village was going to get. I don't think so. I understand a lot. I have checked him out just as well as he's checked me out. But one thing, please look at it. For me, there's a whole lot behind me than you.
My name is James McCullough. I assume the mayor knows where I'm here.
I didn't hear you.
Said, I assume you know why I'm here. The $150 fine that I bought a permit, that you said I bought a permit, well, Your adjudicator said if I bought the permit, he was gonna vacate the fine, but he still fined me. And I talked to you about it. You never got back with me. This is the only way I get a chance to see you, other than camping out in the parking lot.
Are you through?
Could you give me an answer?
I'm not gonna go back and forth. I asked you, I'm gonna answer you.
Yes, I'm finished.
Okay. I came by your house numerous times. We talked about this. So for you to make the statement that you can't get in touch with me, that's erroneous. Because you've seen me at your house at least 3 times that I rode past and you were out there and I talked to you. Yes, you did talk about that. But if the adjudicator made a decision and you want me to override that, no, I'm not going to do that.
Okay, but I bought the permit.
I thought you said you were through.
No, but I bought the permit. You said if I bought the permit, then he was gonna vacate. You all still charged me $150.
I'm not going to go back and forth as I say. That's why I asked you where you're through. If the adjudicator made the ruling, I'm not going to override the ruling. Why should I have an adjudicator? Why should there be one if I'm going to override that?
Well, if he gonna lie about the situation.
Sir, we're not, okay. Okay, all right, thank you. Don't say that I haven't talked to you. Don't say that you have to camp out to see me, because that.
But I do. Every time I see you, I have to camp out in the park.
Okay. You and I both know that's erroneous. So.
You never go around. They say you're not here when I come to the office. And I know y'all got cameras and y'all see everybody come through the lobby. That's how it feels.
Sir, I'm gonna ask you one more time. One more time, I'm gonna ask you, please, do not blurt out. I'm asking you. Yes, ma'am.
Pat Couch, I have a question regarding employment for Sauk Village. What kind of education do you require? What background do you require when you are looking for an employee for this village? Do you do background on the people that you're hiring? And are you going to address your social media policy that has been running rampant with Mr. Wisawati for years? You spoke a long time ago, you could not control Mr. Wisawati. Well, that's obvious back then. But now he is an employee of this village and has been allowed to trash people on social media. Not only this young lady here tonight, but he has done this in the past. Seriously, somebody needs to take a look at that social media policy and do something about it. Our police department does need help. We have a lot of people out there that are causing headaches for people. The neighborhoods, maybe they are not as safe as we would like them to be because we have limited resources. Our police department can run their legs off, and we still need help. We have issues with these dogs that are running crazy in our village. We can't transport a dog in a vehicle that's used for prisoners. We know that. But we have these people that need to get licenses for those dogs. That would bring revenue to this village. We have not a person that can go out and check to see if there are dogs without licenses. So what are we going to do about all these problems?
My name is Jane Glaze. I would like to know why Public Works is not doing their job. They've torn up parkways. They have not fixed them. People cannot mow their lawns up there. The streets are even torn up around where they tore up the parkways. Why haven't they picked up the branches from all the storms? People should not have to call in and say, I have down branches. If they were out running in their cars, sir,
I'm talking to you. I give you the courtesy when you talk to me, I look at you.
You don't mind if I write down what you said, so I can remember what you said? You don't
I
mind
don't
that?
say
Do you
that
mind if
much.
I do that?
That's fine.
Thank you.
But these branches need to be picked up. I also like to know when you're going to do something about the 221st Street ditch. It's overgrown. It's probably got a whole lot of TVs and other things thrown in it. It's disgusting. Why aren't the lights being fixed? The one on Yates keeps going on and off, and I have reported it. Why aren't the fire hydrants being repaired? How many fire hydrants have they repaired? I'm done. I'd like some answers, please.
As far as Public Works, I addressed just Monday about the problem with, I guess it would be breaks that they had for water main, and then the dirt still being there and not being taken care of. That's something that I talked to Public Works Director about, and it will be handled. Some of them had to stay that way so they could, instead of them doing anything, they had to wait for it to seal, wait for it to make sure that there's not going to be another problem because they put a patch on it. So that part has been talked about. As far as the branches, there's a certain time for branches to go out and put them out. In between those times, they're going to be out there. They try to get around to them to pick them up when they get a chance, but they still have to cut grass and do other things that they have to do regularly on the maintenance schedule. The 221st Street ditch, I'll find out about that. And as far as lights are concerned, I talked to Public Works about that, the director, and there's a issue with the transformer that they're working on trying to get those fixed. So, those are my answers to the question that you asked.
How many fire hydrants have been replaced?
I have no, I didn't get that, and I didn't ask that question. I know that there are fire hydrants that were replaced. How many have been done? Honestly, ma'am, I couldn't tell you how many have been done. We still have fire hydrants left. Someone stated that we have to buy fire hydrants, we have fire hydrants. So we have to, when we get around to it, we have hired some extra help for the summer. So they're not gonna put the fire hydrants in, it's gonna be Public Works. So they can do some of the other work by Public Works, tackle those type of jobs.
Would you please let me know by next meeting how many fire hydrants have been fixed?
Bernadine Hopkins, excuse me. I'm going to kind of be all over the place. First off, high school students they're looking to do community service as part of their grade, and I wanted to know, excuse me, does the village offer anything, or is there any, how would they find out the information to try to do community service, maybe somewhere in Village Hall or whatever? That's number one. Now, under number 11, under new business, I noticed that there's a suit looks like with Lisa Gibbons. I was wondering, would you be able to share why the village is being sued? The other thing, again, I said I'm going to be all over the place. What does operational transfer mean? And was this determined to be a valid term? The other thing, let's see, regarding the minutes, to not include your response to me sort of leaves no accountability, because if I ask you a question and there's no record of the response, the answer, or whatever, what do we do with that? So now, I'm gonna jump some more. Okay, The special meeting, was this meeting called to supplement the council meeting on the last Tuesday? And why couldn't those things be taken care of with this meeting? And also the bottom line is, who's going to be paid for both of those meetings?
Are you through?
Yes.
Community service, they can come to the village hall. We'll have to find out just how and what it is that they're looking for. We don't do a lot of it because it takes supervision, and we don't do a lot of community service inside the village because we have sensitive records that have to be, we cannot just have anyone look at those, and we don't have the manpower outside. But they can come to the village, and there's other means. It doesn't necessarily have to be here. There's other places throughout the village that will accept community services such as churches and organizations. Yes, there was 2 meetings tonight, a special meeting and a board meeting, which you have now. There's 1 meeting. They'll get paid for 1 meeting. And as far as Lisa Gibbons, this is a lawsuit she put in 2 or 3 years ago of her that she sued the village, and this is a settlement that she received for that, and it was agreed upon with the insurance company. So that's what that is.
Operational transfer.
I'm sure the treasurer, and we're going back and forth again. I'm sure the treasurer explained to you, but if you didn't get that, she'll be here tomorrow, because I'm not going to try to get into that, because it was explained last week, a week before last. So there is a difference between the 2 transfers.
No, sir, it wasn't explained. She was supposed to check with someone to get some information to see if that was a valid term. I'm asking you, what was it determined that that was a valid term?
Ma'am, that's why I didn't want to answer. I asked you because I stated that we're not going to debate and go back and forth. If you want to know the explanation, you can come tomorrow, and maybe the treasurer should be here, and we can get a further understanding. I'm not going to try to explain it to you, and it was explained.
But sir, you should understand that, shouldn't you? I mean, that term deals with money. Shouldn't you understand that term? I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm just saying. You're the mayor. I don't have to know it. Help me, sir, help me. You don't know.
Okay.
Heidi Parker. I would like to continue with the last comment about the operational transfer. Ms. Sutcliffe never explained exactly what that means. She also never explained if that could actually be done. Since she's not here, how are we supposed to ask her? Is she ever here? No. I think she's been here about 3 times during the board meeting. The other question I have is about the police that's in the back.
Sir, next time, I'm going to ask you to leave.
Joe, shut up.
I have a question about the police that's in the back of the room. I remember when Mr. Hanks had police here, you objected that they needed to be on the street. Why do they not need to be on the street tonight?
I asked them to be here. I asked them to be here, okay? That was my decision. These officers are here on my behalf.
He's still the mayor and he could send them
I
out.
understand that, but I asked them to be here. still have 2 more officers on the street. Their radios are on, my radio is on.
My brother's.
We know what's going on. Thank you for your concern.
You have 2 officers on the street.
Sir,
That was
Yeah.
I would stay quiet, sir.
sir,
You need to stay quiet.
sir,
I believe, but
Thank
you have
you.
2 officers on the
Do
street.
that.
South
You
Village.
do that.
You just said,
Come
sir,
on, do that.
you have 2 officers. 2.
Joe, stop.
And you justify that. You have 2. 2.
And they have radios.
There's murders and stuff
Any,
going on these streets, and you have 2 officers on the street. Congratulations.
report from officers. Mayor's report. Today I will be assigning a community outreach committee to Trustee Carter. And he's going to explain to you during his reports what it's going to consist of, what his plans are going to be. And he's going to have a seminar on the 28th. I'm going to let him explain that too, and what it's going to entail. So today I'm going to ask, and I'm going to appoint Trustee Carter III, the Community Outreach Committee, and he'll explain that too more. Also, we're still looking for volunteers for the community or the village-wide picnic that we're planning on having in July. If we have, I'm sure the line was long for complaints. I'm sure it can be just as long. It can be just as long for volunteers to help come out and put this together. And this is going to be, if you need any more information, you can see me after the meeting. You can come up to Village Hall at any time and say, I'd like to volunteer for the community picnic that we're trying to make happen. And the reason for the picnic is to bring as many people together on the same accord and, at a different venue rather than come. It's easy to come up there and stand up there and talk about what we haven't done, what we're not going to do, who does this, who does that. That's very easy. So I'm hoping that I get volunteers to come out and help make this happen. That's going to be discussed. I'm hoping if I can get it done, it'll be in July, the second week in July, but depends on how quick we can get everything done and how many volunteers we have. Quite naturally, the more volunteers, the quicker we can get it done. It's very simple, and it's not going to be a whole lot of work. It's just disseminate the word and get it out, and to come out and commiserate with your fellow residents. And there's no cost to the village. Village Clerk, Ms. Margaret Campbell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a few things. First, I would like to say that going forth, anytime there's any resources or reports or anything that trustees or announcements that need to be made, they will be on the table in the back to my right, opposed to everything being on the one table. So I would say that prior to leaving, you may want to look at that table and make yourself available to any of the items that you would want. One thing that is on there that may save you just a little bit of time, we received notice of the drinking water quality report for 2017, which is something that comes out every year. It will be on our website starting July 1st. However, since I got them so that they can be posted on the bulletin board outside according to regulations, I decided I would make a few copies, and that would save you a few steps from having to go get it off of the website. So there's about 25 copies of that back there. I'm going to ask the trustees to kindly remember to give me their committee meeting payment request with the agenda and your minutes if available. Today is the 26th, and payroll has to go in, and I would like to include yours for Mike Bernicky at this time. Also, if you've not got your vehicle stickers and your pet licenses, this is the time to do it. You really have until Friday to buy them without any penalties and without possibility of getting a ticket if it's a vehicle sticker. And I see the police chief nodding his head. I'm thinking they may be looking out for you. So, if you don't, so please come in and get your vehicle stickers. And someone else mentioned pet licenses. We are really attempting to enforce pet licenses as well. In terms of your FOIA updates, I passed that out to you today. Fortunately, it was not as great as it was last month. And they've all been completed. Those that were received from 5/22/18 to today, they each have been responded to. And in some instances, people may not necessarily care for the way that I respond in the attempt to submit another, letting me know that I'm returning this to you. No, what you would do if you do not agree with my response, then at the bottom of the letter, it tells you what your recourse is, and that is to contact the Attorney General's office. You don't get to tell me that you didn't like the answer, so try again, okay? But if you look at them, it's not been the same person this time, and quite a few of them have been very legitimate requests, and I'm just really happy with all of the staff who have assisted me with responding to the FOIAs. They will be posted on the bulletin board outside beginning tomorrow. Trustees, I know that when you picked up your packets on Friday, Saturday, yesterday, and or today, you saw a nice long memo from me, as well as some resource materials dealing with parliamentary procedures, Robert's Rules of Order, and our municipal code. If you've not had an opportunity to read that at this point, I'm going to seriously ask that each of you take some time, and then take some more time, and then take some more time thereafter, and become very proficient with Robert Rules of Order, parliamentary procedures, and our own municipal code, so that when we stand or sit before the residents during our meetings, that we can conduct ourselves very professionally according to the rules which are established to make certain that we are the professionals poised that we would want to be. And that concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Village Engineer, Mr. Jim Carter.
Thank you, Mayor. IDOT received bids for the 223rd Street and Cornell Avenue Road reconstruction project, and we have some good news. The low bid received by Iroquois Paving Corporation is about $100,000 lower than our construction cost estimate. Therefore, the cost of the village will be less. Sauk Village is responsible for 20% of the project cost, which will be paid for utilizing MFT funds. I will keep you updated as IDOT proceeds through the project award phase. And that concludes my report. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Got a question?
Go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Cernan, it's my understanding that the most of the 223rd Street project be funded by the CDB block grant, you know. Now, it's my understanding that the board will not even review our application, the 2018 application, until July 25th. However, the $200,000 was put into the budget, so we don't know if we even getting that money yet, but it was put in the budget. And not only that, for the 223rd Street project, we're taking some of the MFT funds and to use it to finish up the 223rd Street project. And I talked to you about this before. My question still to you is that we're using all the MFT monies to finish up the 223rd project, what about the rest of the village? My question also is to you is that we don't know if we're getting this money. We didn't get any money in 2017, we got 200,000 in 2016. So I'm wondering, how come we put a bid out there for over $500,000 when we don't even know if we're gonna get the $200,000? I don't know how that works, but to me, it seems like it's a little premature to have all these plans and stuff to do the 223rd Street project. We don't even know if we're gonna get the money.
There's $0 in CDBG money going towards this project.
Yeah.
0. So this project has nothing to do with CDBG. It's funded by federal FAU funds, which come from the federal government, administered through IDOT. 0 cost to the village. 80% of that, all free money.
Okay.
The only thing that the village has to pay for is that remaining 20%. Of that, $75,000 is being provided by Cook County in the form of a grant. So really, we're talking about maybe $100,000 to pay for utilizing MFT funds. Relatively speaking, this is the lowest expenditure of MFT funds we've had in a long, long time. This is a relatively inexpensive year for Sauk Village because there's so much grant money and federal funding being utilized for the road project. So this is a very cheap project for the village and a very large project at that.
Well, you said it was a cheap project, but I do believe we passed an ordinance for over $500,000 to complete the 223rd Street project. So where are we going to get that money?
From the federal government and from Cook County and a little bit of motor fuel tax funds.
Okay. If I'm not mistaken, since you've been here, we always talk about the CDB block grant. So now you're telling me we're not using that, we're going to use the federal government money.
For this project, yes.
Okay. Anyway, the other thing is the $100,000 you said that we're going to use for the MFT money. Now, Sauk Village is 4 miles wide, whatever, But I'm saying, we're going to take all that $100,000 of that MFT money. What are we going to use for the rest of the village?
This particular year, we are not doing another street program with the thought of we are going to bank the money that we would normally spend for road reconstruction projects, and we're going to utilize that next year. So next year will be a relatively larger MFT program than we've done in the past. And the hope is that we will get that CDBG funding next year, and it will be an even bigger program.
Oh, so in other words, we didn't get anything for 217, so we're hoping for next year, right? So my question next is to Mr. Mohan, then why was the 200,000 put in the budget? Since we know we're not gonna get the money, but I mean, he indicated we're not getting the money.
Trustee Brewer, we were anticipating for $200,000. Therefore, we projected we might get $200,000 in grant. That's the reason we didn't put it in the budget.
Okay. My next question is to you, Mr. Cernak, is that for the Osland grant, you have indicated that, well, in the budget, there's $105,000 in there. And we know that Robson Engineer has got their fees and stuff, and it's about $85, something like that, $1,000 left. Now, the Osland grant 15, OS 15, 1966, has to be finished by August of this year, 2018. Now, it's a reimbursable grant as I understand it. So I need to know, I'm trying to find out, where are we going to get the money to jumpstart this Osland grant when you need to reimburse the state first, reimburse the project, pay for the project first, and then the state comes back and reimburse us. So where are we going to get the money, the startup money, to finish off that project? Maybe Mr. Moore could answer that.
So, as part of the agreement, the state actually gave the village,
50%.
what would you call it? 50%. Can't think of the term I was trying to. So,
Advance.
yes. So they basically pre-funded the project so that project expenses could be paid for in advance. That's rare for a grant program to do that. It's wonderful that they do that. So when the village begins work on the project, not the village, but the contractor begins work on the project, we've got that money waiting to pay the contractor. And then when they reach a certain stage of completion, we'll get the rest of the money and we'll be able to pay the contractor then.
So where are we getting the money from?
We do have a reserve of $218,000 out of that, the warrant money we recently floated in the month of April. We do have about $218,000 in reserve that we can use it for grant expenses.
Okay, let me understand something. We gotta pay 50% of the grant, which would be about $140,000 left. We're gonna borrow from the general obligation bond that we just borrowed to pay. Then we gotta wait for the state to pay the grant money back to us. And then we're gonna use our property tax to pay the bond. Wait a minute. Is that right? It seems that we're never gonna get out of this hole. We're going round and round in a circle, it doesn't make any sense. So we're gonna use the general obligation funds that we had borrowed to pay bills to supplement the Osmond grant. The Osmond grant, is gonna be reimbursed us by GPO, and then the state is gonna pay us back sooner or later. How long does the state take you to pay money back?
Normally, the state will reimburse us within 15 days to a month.
Okay, so we'll have that money back. So then when the property taxes come in, we got to pay off the bond.
Correct.
Okay, all right. End my question.
Property taxes are always used to pay off everything. We just got the anticipation bond is something that we got in advance. Every year we have a problem with getting from one taxing time, which is in February, March, until September. Bills go on, things go on. We still have to pay our bills, still have to pay our wages and everything. Property tax money is what is used to pay bills in the village, be it wages or anything else. And this is just a way for us to get some of the money in advance, to borrow. We don't have to pay it all back at one time. That was the reason for that. But this project, as Mr. Zarnik was talking about, is not going to be hardly any cost to the village, but MFT money is used for the streets. Motor fuel tax money comes in all the time. But this particular one we allocated for this particular project because it needed it to be, and we hopefully partnered it with the CDBG, Community Block Grant Fund.
Thank you for that information, Mr. Mayor. However, the point I was trying to make is that we keep going round and round in a circle. Borrow Peter to pay Paul, get a couple of his kids in there, and the next thing you know, we borrow from the water fund. So we're going around and round in circles. So it has to be some kind of way we need to sit down and examine just how we're paying bills.
Trustee, the only way you're going to do that, that's how municipalities work.
I didn't say it didn't work like that. I'm just making a note of how we can borrow Peter from pay farm. You know. No, I mean, if you finish.
Anybody else have a question for Mr. Zarnik?
I think I made my point.
Again, Finance Administration, Mr. Mohan.
Thank you, Mayor and the board. I have no report, but I have one correction to the accounts payable. The total accounts payable should have been $429,630.21. There were two items that were duplicated that has already been approved by the board in the last board meeting that we have taken off of the accounts payable report per trustee Zupan, who pointed out there was a mistake. I appreciate that.
So it wasn't added? Okay.
Question? Well, Mr. Mayor, I would like copies of all of Dr. Strada's invoices. Every week I ask for them. And I'd like a copy of every invoice for the lab group on this accounts payable. Because it seems like to me, even though she's part-time, to get $4,000 and $5,000 a month is a little excessive. So I would like a copy of all her invoices that's on this account payable. Also a copy of every invoice for the lab group. And can I get that tomorrow, or do I have to forward it? I'll send you a memo, Mr. Mohan. I don't want to get you in trouble.
Is that it?
That's it for him?
Fire Chief, Mr. Al Reagan report.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. Over the period from June the 6th through the 20th, fire department responded to 21 calls. We had 9 fire alarms, 4 vehicle accidents, 1 ambulance assist, 1 CO call, 3 auto aids on the ground, 1 gas leak, and 1 smoke in the building. Honorable Mayor and trustees, the fire department has been in contact with Air One discussing our options for new SCBA tanks. The cost to replace 25 air packs and 50 air tanks is around $180,000. I brought this up during our budget hearings. Our tanks expire in November and we can no longer be used. We were denied a grant to replace them this year. We can reapply for the grant again next year. Air One has offered a solution to lend us used tanks that are still good until we acquire the funds to purchase new tanks. We will continue to use our existing tanks until November. Talking with Air One, that $180,000, that was a complete set test with the regulators and everything. Well, through our preventive maintenance program, our regulators are up to date. If we run across a problem, we have Air One come out and check it out. If it has to be replaced, it should be replaced. Other than that, they're fine. The only problem we've got is with the tanks. So if we can get Air One to hold us over for a couple of years until we can gather up some money, that was a big help. I want to thank the young ladies for planting the flowers at the fire station. Also, Fire Department Cooling Center will be available during the next heat spell from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Watch out for your neighbors, folks. You guys are doing a fantastic job. But with this kind of heat and humidity, we have to be a little extra help. And that is my report.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes, question.
Yes.
Chief, I'm sorry, if I could just for clarification purposes, at a minimum, we need to replace the air tanks at a cost of $40,000, is that correct?
That's correct.
And the air packs themselves are okay? Do they have a lifespan on them too that we need to worry about an expiration date?
No, there's no lifespan, they just have to be up to par and checked every year.
Okay.
If we run across a problem, then we take care of it at that time.
And the $40,000 covers all 50 air tanks that are needed, right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, I have a question. Chief, is that in the budget for 2018, 2019? The $40,000, it is in the budget? Is it in the budget for 2018, 2019, the air packs or whatever you're talking about for $40,000?
It was turned down.
It was.
We applied for the grant.
Okay.
We were in the process of trying to have the grant set in.
Okay.
Never budget. It was never added in my budget.
Okay.
Police Department, Mr. Chief Robert Watson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, trustees. And I do appreciate the positive support from the individuals, especially yourself. Thank you. Crime is not running rampant. For the past 2 weeks, we had 494 calls, and if people paid attention, we don't deviate much more than that every 2 weeks for calls for service. We've had 13 arrests, and I'm going to deviate a little bit from my report because I have a breakdown of calls that we received. The most calls that we get are for burglar alarms, which we had 47 for the last 2 weeks. We had 36 citizen assists. We had 33 disturbances. We had 10 escorts. We do get quite a few domestic disturbances. We had 36 medical emergencies that we assisted on. We had 11 traffic accidents with damage. We had 28 suspicious circumstances with individuals, 26 suspicious vehicles. And as far as shots fired, believe it or not, over the 2 weeks, we had 3 shot fire calls. That was it. So all these shots that people are hearing, oh wait, let me go back to the fireworks calls. Because we had several fireworks calls too. We had 6 of those. Now I'll go back to my report. As far as body cams go, I did look into it and I stay in constant communication with the mayor. It would cost $108,000 to supply body cams, and that's just body cams for the officers. Our vehicles we have 6 new vehicles, 2 for the detectives, 4 for the patrol, and the K-9 had a new engine put in it because the old engine died, so that's pretty much a new car. As far as vests, we only have 4 officers that have vests that expire this year, which have a 5-year lifespan, and we put in for a matching grant with the Bureau of Justice. So as soon as we get those, we'll get those all updated. All the officers will have updated vests. In accordance with the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police, July 25th is the 3rd annual Illinois Speed Awareness Day, and it's fast approaching. The mission of Speed Awareness Day is to promote education, conduct enforcement, and support continued engineering advances in an effort to heighten public awareness of dangers of excessive speed, which will lead to the prevention of collisions, deaths, and injuries. In addition, our mission includes the support of legislation which advances to strengthen the laws and associated penalties of those convicted of offenses related to excessive speeding. Simply put, the mission of Illinois Speed Awareness Day is to prevent deaths, tragedies, and reduce injuries on our highways due to excessive speed. National Night is fast approaching, and I just wanted to remind everyone we're registered with National Association of Town Watch for the 2018 National Night Out set for August 7th. If you'd like to volunteer, or if you have any suggestions, please feel free to see me. And lastly, since we're talking about the credibility of the police department, we received a strike force letter from the Department of Drug Enforcement Administration expressing their gratitude for our participation in the task force, which read, "From the early days of the Drug Enforcement Administration, we have enjoyed and benefited from a strong and critical partnership with state and local law enforcement across the country, whether through formalized task forces or simply our joint casework. Collectively, we are able to make our communities safer and the nation stronger. With regard to the formal task force officer program, to which you contribute resources, I wanted to say thank you. We all face continued challenges with manpower, and I recognize that you also must answer to others about your allocation of these precious resources. I know the value we receive from your assigned personnel, and I hope you are also receiving benefits in return. It is important that your participation results in measurable impact to the community. Asset sharing has also been an important part of the task force officer program. I know that this is not the primary reason why you participate. However, we recognize the expense these efforts cost your agency, and I am committed to asset sharing and will continue to work to safeguard this program. On a more individualized level, it is also our hope that providing additional training to your task force representative makes them a more rounded investigator who can then assist internally with expanding knowledge within their agency. In 2017, we reinstituted the Drug Unit Commander Academy to share our leadership training with the drug unit supervisors to further synchronize DEA supervisors with our state and local leadership partners. We also developed a task force officer training program curriculum to help make that transition of an assignment with DEA a much smoother process for your task force officer, providing them with tools to navigate daily life while assigned to and deputized as a DEA agent. In our efforts to address the national opioid crisis, we have received considerable support to increase our law enforcement efforts, including a recent surge in adding 400 task force officers to our mission. I am incredibly proud of how strong our relationships are, that when we asked for help, our partners responded and committed additional resources. The task force officer program is an integral part of DEA, and your officers play a large role in our ability to conduct successful enforcement operations. I want you to know that we appreciate the contributions you make to our mission every day. Thank you for your partnership and continued participation in the program. Sincerely, Robert Patterson, Acting Administrator. That's the end of my report.
Thank you.
Yes. Chief, I want you to give me some feedback on, I got an email from you addressing the Neighborhood Watch Program, and you weren't in favor of that particular, I'm thinking you were talking about just the memo or something that was sent out where she was asking for Black Cub captains and you know, that sort of thing. What I want to say to you is that it would with that particular organization, it would be a good idea to empower, make the residents feel like they're empowered. Okay, and also, since you said there's not a hindrance to you, it seems like you would want to go in and give them some kind of little training, or so they can stay out of the way or be in the way, or what to look for or whatever, just to say you don't support that particular, I guess it was a memo or something. I think makes us look bad, because we have residents out there who look all day long, and I don't care if you, what they do, when a resident calls, you have to respond. So I'm just saying, it would behoove you to maybe, you know, address what they're trying to do. It would empower the residents and give them something, you know, feel like there's something positive working for the village. You know, that's what I would do. But I want to know, what's your take on why you didn't support the thing, or is it something that they should be doing that you want them to do, or something they could be doing that would make it your job easier, because all of us are in this together. So I'm just saying, how about giving us some feedback on what you would like us to do or see or whatever, you know.
Well, thank you, and I think everyone knows how passionate I am about not only my position here in Sauk Village, but how passionate I am and supportive I am of our officers and supportive of this town. So if you research a little bit, former President Barack Obama put together the 21st Century Task Force on Community Policing. He put together a group that came up with 6 pillars. And these 6 pillars, one of them, which is community policing, is what I truly support and will be discussing further in the future through the public safety meetings, which I've talked with Trustee Zupan about, and have a PowerPoint program. And what the community policing does, it empowers everyone. You don't need to go to one specific person. You together as an entire town, watch out for each other. You become one. So you don't have to report to a neighborhood watch person, which many times some of my counterparts in other towns have found it to be a political problem where it supports certain individuals. That is definitely farthest from what I want to achieve on this. So that's why I'm promoting community policing. It's just one of the pillars of the recommendations of this task force, and I will be talking about that more at future public safety meetings, and we'll be promoting it. So watch for it.
Okay, that's great. I really appreciate that. That community policing is a good idea, but you have residents out here who have been doing the neighborhood watching. You might want to reach out to them because they have, or either they can call you. We will call you.
My phone has always been open. I give my email. We have Facebook. I don't know how much more open I could be.
Okay, good job.
Economic Development, Director, Mr. Joseph Wiswater.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm very pleased to report that the village is closed on the sale of the old laundromat building. Mr. Abazir has taken possession of it. Mr. Abazir is filing his application with Cook County for the Class 8 tax classification on those two parcels. If you recall, the village board approved the resolution at the last board meeting in support of that. The property is now back on the property tax rolls after a decade of receiving 0 property taxes. The advisory committee for the village's comprehensive plan held its first meeting last week, which was a very productive meeting. The committee reviewed the draft existing conditions report prepared by the consultant Teskin Associates. The village board will be holding a joint meeting with the combined zoning board and plan commission on July 17th at 7 p.m. during the committee of the whole meeting. This is to check in and review the work completed to date. Scott Goldstein and his team from Tesco will be presenting. Finally, we've added 78 homes to our grass mowing list. This brings our revised total number of homes being mowed under the IDA grant to 171, which represents the bulk of the homes not being mowed or maintained. The village intends to file liens on these properties and may take action against the owners as legally permitted. And that concludes my report.
Thank you.
Question. Mr. Wisdom, you know, residents are really upset with you today. Do you want to say anything to them?
Any other questions?
No, that's the only one I want to know.
Okay.
I want to know he did it to me, so I wanted to see what he was going to say.
Reports from trustees, standing committees, and comments. Public Service Committee, Trustee Bernice Brewer.
Friday, June 22nd, we had a event over in Candlelight, and we invited the residents of Weatherstone, and it was the Con Ed Emergency Efficiency Assessment Program. Okay, we had about 50 people to sign up for the assessment program. It was a good free event, and what we did was once the money was ran out, which ran out in June 30th, will be running out, we'll move the program over to the village come late September or early October. But all the products they gave were free. All you had to do is come in and sign up for it to get the free products, no income verification or anything like that. And it was absolutely a great program. And I'm hoping when we come back in September, October, that everybody will come out. It saves you on energy. You get thermostats, aerators, they'll wrap your water pipes and all this sort of stuff. So I behoove you to look out for this information. It doesn't cost you anything. You just have to be there when they come in there and talk about energy efficient. And second thing I want to talk about is that the couple months ago, I guess maybe a month ago, I gave a presentation on the recommendation for the public service. And at that time, I indicated that Republic owes us about $22,000 from last year, and nothing else happened on that. I was wondering, did Trustee Carter, did you get a chance to do those physical
going around to count the houses like you indicated that we needed to do? And also, is anything going to be done about reconciliation in trying to recover our $22,000 in funds that Republic owes us about this particular thing? And you want to do that before I do my comments?
No.
Okay.
Go ahead and finish.
Okay. Well, my comments is that for operational transfers, last week, the treasurer, Judy Sutton, did not explain to what it is. She said she was going to refer that to the attorney, and he was going to give us something in writing, which we haven't gotten yet. And also, we asked for something in writing for the Arrowhead project, but it wouldn't go over $200-something thousand. We haven't gotten that yet either. The second thing is that I'm asking for the copies of the invoices for HR personnel and treasurer and every accounts payable. It seems like she's getting paid a little bit too much for a part-time person. For Mary Esposito, when we first got started, the mayor indicated to us as trustees that if Joe Wiswasser stays on Facebook, that he wouldn't be here. He's on Facebook, and we have an ordinance that's address social media policy. I would like to know what are you going to do about that? Holcomb, let's see. For Public Works, I got to give them, they do their best. They shorthanded. That's the best they can do, And I know in response to a FOIA request, we have 89 fire hydrants, 6 of them were fixed in 2017. I know that because somebody responded to a FOIA request. The mayor might know it too once he gets that information. Let's see. And Mr. McCullen, I think he left. I don't know what to tell you. You can't burn on my phone because there's nothing I can do about it.
Trustee?
Yes.
Trustee?
I'm responding to the people's request.
Trustee?
Yes.
I'm hoping that, and I don't discuss personnel in the open meeting.
Who did I ask?
Yes, you
Personnel?
did. Yes,
Who?
you did. You did discuss personnel matter.
Who?
You discussed the personnel matter. I don't discuss personnel. I hope that you refrain from discussing personnel matters in an open meeting.
Wait a minute, I discussed the issue. I didn't discuss personnel. I discussed the issue. I'm talking about social media issue.
As far as Republic, I researched that. We owe them money.
No, we don't.
Okay, I'm not going to go through. Are you through? I'm not going to do it. Are you through?
Well, I mean, I just want to know.
Are you through?
No, I'm not through. And why you got to interrupt every time I say something? Y'all see you interrupting any of the rest of them?
Trustee, first of all, hold it. Wait a minute.
Hold it. You wait a minute.
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you? Every time I get up here to say something, you always got to interrupt. You might not like what I'm saying.
But you're not going to sit here and run the meeting.
Well, I'm not trying to write the meeting. I'm responding to stuff that I know about the residents want to
We're
know.
not going to discuss personnel matters.
I have said one thing about personnel matters. I'm talking about the social media.
You got anything else?
I'm talking about social
Have you got
media.
anything else?
Yes, I want to talk about ordinance 14006 to adopt the social media project.
She's out of order.
You out of order. Ain't nobody recognize you. I'm on the floor.
How do you feel?
Every time you post, you tell somebody else over there, somebody else words coming out of his mouth like anybody talk but you.
How do you feel?
She's out of order.
You out of order. I didn't hear the mayor say one time, Trustee Carter.
Trustee Brewer, I understand that you have concerns. I try to at least explain some of the concerns.
Well, I'm not finished, so how you
I'm
gonna
not going to
complain?
sit here and let you holler and scream at me.
Well, I'm
That's
not,
gonna
but
happen.
then stop interrupting me.
Then stop. Really?
Really?
I'd like to put a motion in call for recess.
Who are you?
Is there a second for that?
Who are you?
Second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes. Trustee Carter.
Yes.
Trustee Grant.
Yes.
elected officials just got here this morning.
Trustee Todd? No. Trustee Zupan? No. Trustee Brewer?
No.
She's elected. She's elected. You're not.
Okay, we'll take a 10-minute recess.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
They just voted no, good idea.
What truth comes out and he starts going.
That's the thing, he says every time I get sick, we gotta get this.
Or it will be on daytime.
But he wanted to say, no, I understand. He wanted to say anything with Joe. With Joe.
It's so
Oh, I'm gonna call it. That's why I told everybody, don't sit all night.
Here.
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 Okay, Budget and Finance Committee,
I
trustee.
wasn't finished, Mr. Mayor. I had to get up the floor. I didn't say I was finished. Mr. Mayor and the audience, I apologize, but sometimes it is so frustrating sitting up here when you want to ask questions, the mayor interrupts me all the time. So I need to let you know how I'm voting for your tax dollars. It is very frustrating to be interrupted every 5 minutes, and, or maybe he didn't give me the memo, because words that come out of my mouth are my own. So I'm going to pass the floor. I want to apologize for getting abrupt, but you know, you got to understand, it's just sort of frustrating when somebody's always trying to demean and intimidate you when you sit up here representing the people. I'm only got elected, the third one in the room, but regardless of that, I was elected by the people to voice my opinion on certain issues. And that's what I want to do as long as I'm here. Now, the mayor, I'm coming back until I get my point across. There's some things that's done up here since we've been here, there's not quite right, there's illegal, and it's not being explained to us. They come in here, they want us to pass stuff, they don't give us any supporting documents, and anytime you put a report in yourself, they always have something to say, but they don't have anything to dispute anything what you're saying. So with that, I'm gonna say, I'm finished.
Budget and Finance Committee, trustee Roger Grant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple of points. In regards to the operational transfers, the treasurer did send the board an email last week stating how she will still waiting on a legal opinion. However, that is not uncommon for municipalities to do the same practice. And I just want to point out that she did explain the difference between a operational transfer and a advance, so that was put out there. Trustee Brewer, I think you asked the chief about the SCBA's, was that in the budget?
The what?
I believe that you asked the chief about the SCBA's, was that in the budget for the breathing apparatus?
Yes.
So we did, some money was allocated for equipment, probably not the full amount, but there was some money allocated for that. My last comment, excuse me?
He said what? Did he say what?
He said it was not, but there is money allocated for equipment, as there is every year. In regards to the Budget Finance Committee, we did meet last Wednesday. I'll be bringing back the comments that Trustee Brewer made on the finance policies and procedures, the comments that Trustee Zupan brought, the three as well. I'll bring those back to the board, and we can review them again, and then hopefully pass it for approval in the next few weeks. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Parks and Recs and Youth Services, you'll be hearing from Trustee Carter in regards to all of that. So, only thing I have to say is I'm still looking for, I'm hoping that since you know, everyone wants to get involved and get interactive, that we get some volunteers for this village-wide cookout. So I'm hoping that we can get as many people that have complained and even more to help out with this. And also, since it is for the record, if you accusing this administration of doing something illegal, please file with the Attorney General. But just don't make accusations just to make accusations. If you feel that something is being done illegal.
Mr. Mayor, I didn't say anything about anything illegal, and you misconstrued what I just said. I have a constitutional right to say what I got to say, and you can't just change what I say.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. I did not say that. You just may change that.
I wasn't talking to you.
Well, you implying.
Oh, did it hurt?
Well, it don't hurt me.
But
Everybody sitting out there know what time it is with you.
I'm talking, this is my time. Thank you. I gave you your time. Only thing I'm saying, if you make an accusation, please follow up with it, file. If anyone feels that there's something illegally being done with this administration, anyone, please file a report with the Attorney General. Please file a complaint with the Attorney General. Let them look into it if you feel that's the case. But to make accusations is just what they are, accusations. Housing and intergovernmental relations, trustee Cecil Tate.
I have a question for trustee Carter.
No, he's going to, when he gets to him.
I got a question.
Question for what?
That memo, is that for the June 28th, the flyer? What's the one with the?
What memo?
The June 28th flyer? That's the one for your committee? It doesn't have anything on there on who to contact if you need additional information?
That information is coming from trustee Carter. If you look at that memo for June 28th, you'll see Mr. Carter's name on there.
I'm talking about the flyer itself.
The flyer has his name on there.
No, it doesn't.
What flyer are you referring to?
That doesn't have anybody's name on it.
You don't have this one? Okay, I am so sorry, I thought it had his name on it.
There you go.
I'm a big man, I can admit when I'm wrong. I can admit when I'm wrong. So yes, this is, Mr. Carter will discuss that at his, when he has his report. Trustee Tate, you have anything? Okay. Ordinance Review Committee, Trustee Linda Todd.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can you hear me back there?
Yeah.
Okay. We're having our meeting on July 9th at 10 a.m. here in the Rotunda. For the summer, we're doing it actually in the morning. And that ends my report as far as this, but I do have a comment. What was presented to us 10 a.m. I had to stop and look. And I just have a comment with what was presented to the board today from a resident. We need to take this very seriously because we do have a social media policy, and I'm not going to mention names because I do adhere to the personnel. But this is disturbing. And so we as elected officials or employees, we have to conduct ourselves in a certain manner. So I want this, I really, Mr. Mayor, would like for you to take this into consideration in what we need to do. And that ends my comment.
Thank you. Public Safety Committee, Trustee Dennis Luzon.
Public Safety will not be meeting in its normal time slot in July, since that is on Wednesday, the 4th. I will be reaching out to committee members individually to determine an alternate time, and we will meet then to continue on with our standard agenda. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Trustee Ronald P. Carter III.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We put together a program that, I don't know if you look at the newspapers or you listen to the TV or you listen to the radio, you see that the world is out of control. Thank you. You see that the world is out of control. what we did was put together a program that will assist our children in this community from 13 and up. And the program is devised that the old cliche was that it takes a village to raise a child, and it really does. And you see the kids today, and they're asking, who am I, where do I belong to, what am I doing, where am I going? We want to give them some direction. Because just for the same reason, because it takes a village to raise a child, so a village to develop, to provide for the strategic initiatives that focus on education, productivity, and better quality of life. Upon reviewing, assessing our village mission and our goal, the Department of Recreation has created community outreach program. The goal of this program is to assist youth to become successful adults. And how do we do that? The community outreach program is a series of workshops for persons of the age of 13 and older. The workshop will focus on the following. 1, self-development and self-efficiency. 2, communication skills. 3, career development. 4, overcoming obstacles and self-talk. 5, listening skills. That's a problem with all of us, man. The workshop will include lectures, group discussions, and fun activities. Youth will also be provided with refreshments during each session. Throughout a series of interactive workshops, our children will gain insight, knowledge, and tools to navigate their future. Other direct outcomes includes increased self-awareness, increased self-confidence, and self-efficiency. The ability to create smart goals, better time and money management skills, enhanced dedication in life, augmented listening and communication skills. In addition to these direct outcomes, there are 3 main indirect outcomes. They are as follows: decrease interpersonal conflict, better life choices, increased quality of life. Overall, the community outreach program is a good addition to our village strategic plan. It aligns with our mission and goals and creates atmospheres of community, education, and success. There is one thing stronger than all the armies in the world, and that's an idea whose time is coming. It's time that we look and we develop our children to see just how good they're going to be. But you got to remember, our kids are the representatives that we send to the future when we're not there to show how good we did as parents. So we've got a commitment and a deep obligation. I need everybody's help that can help me. Our first meeting is on the 28th. In that meeting, I'll handle myself because we're going to see how many kids are going to come and how they're going to get involved with our program. The second meeting is when we're going to reach out to other people. We've got 5 meetings, 5 seminars. We're going to try to have 5 seminars a month or 5 seminars every other month. And they're all going to give us thoughts and ideas how better to help our children. Thank you.
Thank you. New business, I don't see this far here. New business. I'll accept the motion to approve accounts payable and disbursements for the total of $429,630.21, dated 6/26/2018.
So moved.
Second.
It was moved by trustee Grant, second by trustee Todd. Any question?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to reiterate that I would like copies of all Dr. Strada's invoices that's on this accounts payable, along with every invoice for the lab group. And also, do you know what this is on page 5 for location survey services? We paid $13,000 back in I want to say 2012 to locate leaks, and they found all the leaks. Now, is this additional leak? Because it said leak location survey, and so what area was this in, and why did we do that?
Page what?
Page 5, it says M.E. Simpson Company Leak Location Services. So apparently they're looking for a leak somewhere under the water fund.
I'd like to know what area that's for, also a copy of that invoice too, what area that was for, because we just, I think it was 2012 or 2013, we paid $13,000 to locate all the leaks. Now, this might be additional leak.
You said it was 13,000?
The one we paid for before was $13,000. This one's was $645. So is this an additional leak that they found?
I don't know, I
That
have
should be
to,
asked, but I'd like to copy that invoice.
any other questions? Madam Clerk?
Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Trustee Tate? Trustee Todd?
Yes.
Trustee Zupan? Yes. Trustee Brewer?
Present.
Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number B, motion to approve and renewal of the ordinance adopting prevailing wage standards in the village of Sauk Village, Cook, and Will County.
So moved. Second.
Moved by trustee Zupan, second by trustee Todd. Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Trustee Tate? Trustee Todd?
Yes.
Trustee Zupan? Yes. Trustee Brewer?
Yes.
Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Move to approve the settlement and resolution of Lisa Gibbons versus the Village of Sauk Village for the amount of $25,000 plus fees and costs.
Second.
Moved by trustee Todd, second by trustee Brewer. Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Trustee Todd?
Yes.
Trustee Zupan? Yes. Trustee Brewer?
Yes.
Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Trustee Tate?
Motion is carried. I accept the motion for adjournment.
So moved. Second.
Moved by trustee Zupan, second by trustee Grant. All in favor? I'm sorry. Second by trustee Todd. I'm so sorry. All in favor? Motion carried.